up, my ducks? It's Simon here. Welcome back to the Hermit's Cave. Hope everybody's doing well. So today I'm doing my top 10 Oracle decks of all time. I've not done this before. I have done a top 10 tarot decks of all time, which was about 3 years ago now. It's a very popular video. People seem to like it and I still get comments on it even now. And this is a request. Somebody left a message the other day saying, really would love to see your all-time favorite Oracle decks. And I said, I'll do a video over the weekend. I'm not sure if this will go up over the weekend because I've got a couple of catch-up cards tonight. I've got a day trip tomorrow, so it might even be Monday when this goes out. But I thought it was quite an opportune moment because about 3 weeks ago, my washing machine broke down. There is a link, bear with, which meant I had to have a new one. And I got an email the night before saying all hallways must be clear. And my heart sank because I'd got 4 bookcases in there full of books, Oracle decks, playing cards, you name it, they were in the hallway. But it gave me an opportunity to sort out what I was keeping, what I was letting go of, and in particular for Oracle decks. So I brought a bookcase, a small bookcase, into the front room, which is next to my desk. And on there, I've put the Oracle decks that I want to keep. There's some playing cards at the bottom, and the rest is all Oracle decks and a few knickknacks because, yeah, trinklements is something that's part and parcel of living here. And usually it's things that are sent to me, which I really like to keep. But yeah, so the rest I put into a box. Sandra, when she came last week, chose some that she wanted to take. Some will probably go to a charity shop, and the rest are just for, you know, if we do meetups or people come and they want to take a deck, then they can. But I'm happy with the collection that I've got. I've got around 70 Oracle decks on that bookcase that I intend to keep and rotate and work with. But it's made it a lot easier to do this video, which is looking at my top 10 all-time favorite Oracle decks. These are the ones that I will never let go of, that I use on a regular basis. I don't do readings with Oracle decks. I tend to use them as part of tarot readings by pulling out an extra card or a couple of cards as a kind of a clarifier. Or I'll just pull one card each day. So at the moment, I've got a card out from Wisdom Keepers, and this one is Realism. And that's my card of the day. So sometimes I will do that as well as pull a tarot card. So without further ado, I will switch the camera around and we'll have a look at my top 10 all-time favorite Oracle decks. All right, so here we go. Now, I will preface this by saying that this was a really, anytime you do, or I do, a top 10, top 5, whatever, it's always hard. And what I've just done is I've gone through my bookcase, I've taken off all of the decks that I think could be a contender for the top 10, and I had 27. So I've had to, you know, be really sort of, okay, why do I prefer that one over this one? Do I use it the most? Do I call upon it more often? Is it because a lot of the decks on the bookcase are boxes, because I have little drawers and holders and things around my desk. So some of the decks, particularly in like the top 3, are ones that have never left my desk. They've just stayed here. So therefore they've got to be there, because the whole point of, for me, a top 10 is just not how pretty they are, but also how usable they are and how often I've used them, worked with them, and how much I've got a connection and bond with them. So that's kind of how I've gone. I have got it down to 10. However, I did want to say the Soul Cards by Deborah Croft Chapin, I've taken out of the top 10 because, in Deborah's own words, you know, I've had her on the channel twice now. They're not. She says they're not oracle cards. They are soul cards. So they don't have any numbers or keywords. Although I've got a deck in this top 10 like that. But you know, they're there for kind of meditation practice. However you want to use them, really. I have used them for readings. But it made it a little bit easier for me to remove soul cards and just focus on the 10 decks that I just absolutely love and know will be in my collection for a long time. All right, let's bring the camera down a little bit so you get a close-up look, and then we will start with number 10. I'm not sure how long this video is going to be, but I've made a cup of tea. Cup of tea ready. So I just want to take my time, really. Hopefully it won't be too long, but I want to be able to give these decks justice and to be able to show you them and explain without rushing what I think to them. So in 10th position is the Kantaji Oracle. Now, some people say Kantaji, which I guess it is, but for some reason I just always call it Kantaji Oracle. This deck I absolutely love. I've not had it that long. I want to say a year or coming up to a year. The book, the spine is a little bit because, you know, I've used this book a lot. But this deck is beautiful. It is a circular deck, and I know that puts a lot of people off. Not everybody likes circular decks. I love this kind of spider's web effect on the back. The cards are quite large, but I don't mind that so much for oracle decks. I was actually, it was a contender to put in this box here, this beautiful box that I bought a few months ago, but I decided in the end to put my 1909 circular deck in there. But just to give you a size comparison, you know, it's a lot bigger. It would fit, but I'd have to, you know, tip it up. I can't grab it like that. I love this as well. Anyway, a little side note there. This deck in particular, the Kantaji Oracle, it's by, well, the artwork is Laura Zuspan. The book is written by Ray Diamond. And if you're familiar with the name's just gone, Luminous Void Tarot, and that's what first drew me to it, because I've got both editions, the shuffle version of the Luminous Void and the original deck. And I just love it. I love the simplicity of the artwork. I love how deeply it connects you. And this is no different. This is a nature-based oracle deck. There's 52 cards, so it's as much as a playing card deck. You'll see there are keywords here in the tunnels of our ancestors. I mean, look at this. But it's really really beautiful in terms of, just trying to get the camera to focus, in terms of having that sort of earthy grounding deck. And I'll just show you, and again, if you see the images here, some are quite rudimentary. Let's move this, because what's happening is it's trying to focus on the trying to focus on the spider's web on the back. Yeah, you'll recognize these kind of images, particularly when it's people, if you are familiar with the Luminous Void, a thorn in the paw. And look at that, clouds pass, but the mountain remains. So this, for me, this is a very earthy, grounding deck. Your ears become a butterfly. The guidebook to it actually is brilliantly written. I did read it initially, but I tend to just pull cards from this and sit with the sit with the image. I mean, carried by the current, we can all relate to that, can't we? How we get swept along within the whatever, you know, the situation is, the circumstance we find ourselves in. But yeah, I'm not going to go through every card because I'll be here all day, but absolutely gorgeous. And as soon as I got this deck, I thought, yeah, this is one that's an Oracle deck, because I must have let go over 100 decks over the last few years. This is one that will always be in my collection. Just love it. The chasm shrinks as you step across. I mean, look at those poppies, pollination. So yeah, gorgeous deck. So Canterbury Oracle, again, great book as well, really thick guidebook, lots of information. It's a collaboration between Ray Diamond and Laura Zuspan. So let's pop that to one side. And then we have number 9. So in the 9th place, again, I've had this probably coming up to 2 years. This is the Earth, Moon and Shadow Oracle, and it's by Serafina, who I've just done a walkthrough in the last 2 weeks of the Wisdom of the Pooh tarot, which is their latest deck. This was on Kickstarter a couple of years ago, and I just love it. There's 48 cards in this. It does come in a huge box. I tend to take my oracles out and I'll either put them in a bag myself or in a box or on a drawer on my desk, but this came with a bag too. These are the backs, which are gorgeous. And it does what it says, you know, it's the Earth, Moon and Shadow. So again, it's a great deck for grounding, but it also brings in, when you think about the moon, I always think about illusion, half truths, half light, and therefore we've got the shadow aspect as well. So for me, this deck really helps you to kind of connect with your shadow self and explore your shadow self. And you can see here, you get some keywords as well. So there is a book. It's not the thickest book, but it's always a bonus to get a guidebook as well. But the illustrations in this deck are just beautiful. The cardstock is wonderful. But as I said, it helps you to connect with your shadow self, but it does it in quite a supportive and nurturing way. Oh, look at this. Kindred spirits. Yeah, so it's absolutely beautiful. It's not probably in relation to tarot. It's not as tall as a tarot, but it's probably the same width. No, it's a little bit wider, but it's not quite as tall. It's a lovely size. It is in a rose petal finish, and it really makes the colours pop. It's just beautiful. Look at that. And I remember when I received this actually to do a review from Serafina. She reached out a couple of years back, and I didn't know much about it. And I saw a couple of images, because I won't say yes to reviewing a deck. And if it's one that I think that I wouldn't like, I would not say yes. I wouldn't do that. And I saw just a couple of the images and I thought, wow, that is so beautiful. And then when I got it in my hands and saw these images, I just thought, wow, this is a real treasure. So yeah, it's great for grounding, that earthy kind of connection, but it's also quite mystical, very shadowy, and lovely for those kind of deep dive hits that you want. Look at that, blue moon. Oh, one of my favourite hidden paths. I just think this is such a beautiful image. this path that just takes you into this vortex, into another realm. So you'll see some cards are quite dark, and then others, you know, are quite light and vibrant. And look at that. So that's Earth, Moon and Shadow Oracle, which is in my top 10 at number 9. All right, so let's have a sup of tea. Number 8. This one is Between the Worlds. Now, some would say, well, it's not really an oracle deck. It is, and it even says oracle cards, but it is based on casting. And the cards were drawn by Monika Badersky, who can do no wrong. I love her. I love her work, from Shadowland Tarot to the Awakening Tarot. Love, love, love Monika Badersky, and this is no different for me. So it was a no-brainer. I had to get it, and I've even I've got an extra copy, and I did a giveaway of this deck as well. Monika does her own art style and her books as well. So this comes with quite a chunky book, because she puts her heart and soul into her work. And you'll see here, you know, you get your card, which is, this one is the key, you get keywords, and then you get the integration, you get a bit about the item, the message, you get some advice, but, and of course reverse. What I really like about this deck is the reflection part. So there'll be 6 or 7 questions that will get you to reflect. So what physical, emotional, spiritual or psychological spaces would you like to access at this moment in time? Are you in control of the barrier? So if you're a journal writer as well, then this is great for having some journal prompts. But I am a journal writer, but I don't use prompts like that in that way. For me, with this deck, I'll pull a card, I'll have a look at it, and then I've really enjoyed going to the book and reading about it, because Monika also shares her personal story of how she obtained that item. So it's great for that. Now Kelly, my friend Kelly Bear, who you all know, made me this little wrap for my birthday last year. And again, you've got like a little charm here for casting. Thought this was perfect, this little bird's skull. But look at the colours, I love it. And she put a little note to say that this tiny little pouch was for the Between the World cards. These are the backs. As you can see here, we've got these 2 keys, and it's a perfect little deck. And I've kind of not replaced, but I loved Mildred Payne's Pocket Oracle, although I preferred the bridge size version. But this kind of does a similar thing, but this one for me is, Mildred Payne has gone onto the shelf for now. I know she'll come back out again at some point in the future, but this one is just wonderful. I love the art style. The cards are incredible, really nice thick cards. So it's not meant to replace casting with charms or bones or whatever curios you use. It's based on that system and her own. She's got a beaver's tooth here, a little heart out of a stone, a bear's claw. There's all different, acorn, all different types of a doll's leg. So, you know, you pull a doll's leg, and for me, I'd be like, well, what is that actually telling me? Is it talking about, you know, feeling broken? Is it about when you feel like you're being torn in lots of different directions? You can start to think about what it means to you, but then also just I would recommend going to the book and reading about how it became part of Monica's collection. And these cards aren't her entire collection. She narrowed it down. Look at this antique coin. How fantastic is that? She narrowed it down to make this deck. A button. Yeah, so I love it, and it's Diddy. It's a small, smaller than, well, probably bridge size, I would say, card. Maybe a little bit smaller. I'm never really up on sizes. If people say to me, is it bridge size or poker size? I don't know. But yeah, so I love Between the Worlds. Yeah, and in particular the book for the reflective questions. There's over 200 pages of information as well in the book. All right, let's move that out of the way. Got them all piled up on the floor. So number 7 next. No surprises, I think, for people. I absolutely adore this. It's in a little pouch that was made by the lovely Anne. And this is 2 decks in one. So maybe I've cheated a little bit, but this is Goddess Love and Goddess Dream. The artwork in this deck, or decks, absolutely one of my favourite art styles. It's by Wendy Andrew. I don't know why, maybe it's because I picked them up there, but this deck really reminds me of Glastonbury as well, my trips to Glastonbury. So look how beautiful this is. So I merged them both together because they're exactly the same card size. Yes, they do have different backs, but that doesn't bother me too much. I think this back is my favourite back out of the two. And it would have been great, you know, to have the same back, but it's no biggie. And then I edged it in blue and purple. So obviously the different backs have a different colour. So why do I love this so much? For me, this is so pagan. Again, it's very nature-based. You get your title and then a key phrase. So here, card 35 in this deck is wilderness and freedom, let go and be. Now, because I've merged 2 decks together, I've got 2 guidebooks that I've just kept in the boxes. I don't think, other than when I first got the decks, I've ever referred to the guidebook again, because I get enough from this deck, from the beautiful image, the keywords, and then a key phrase. I get everything I need. But this artwork, let me just move that so I don't, it focuses on the image and not anything else. Yeah, it's very Celtic, it's very pagan. You do see like Taurs in the background. It obviously is goddess centric, and I love that. You know, Gaia is the kind of the goddess I revere. But look, and Moon Law. So Wendy Andrew is also the artist and author of the book Lunar Moon Hair, which I did a series on. I read, she gave me permission to read at each Sabbat a chapter from Lunar Moon Hair, and the story is of Luna the hare who journeys from the winter solstice, Yule, all the way through to midsummer, and back to Christmas or Yule. Yeah, so this deck also, like the book, represents the seasons of change, the wheel of the year, but it really connects me to the land. I think it is absolutely beautiful. When we get further towards my top three, you'll see that they go very less about the artwork necessarily, more about the kind of significator focus element. I tend to prefer Oracle decks to give me quick sort of hits. However, this one is the exception to that. This one is so beautiful that I just find that, you know, I use it a lot. Again, it's one that, because it's in this pouch, it's in just here, if off camera, I've got a little stand and it's in there. That one does feel a little bit out of sync with the rest of the deck, but I think it's because it's goddesses, it's bringing in lots of other deities from different pantheons. To show you a few more. Gorgeous. Look at that. Creativity seize the day. Lots of foxes, lots of hares and badgers. Look at that. So, yeah, that's the Goddess Love and the Goddess Dream Oracle that I've combined into one deck. Okay, so number six. Number six is one that's been in my collection for a long time. I think 2016 I first got these, certainly before I had a channel, and it's the Connected and Free Oracle. I bought the first edition, obviously first, just before, I think I discovered this community around 2016. I started my channel in 2017, and I saw people talking about this. It was compared a lot to the Wild Unknown, particularly the tarot version, which is it's by Inner Hue, but my mind's gone blank. Lumina Tarot. So I ordered Lumina Tarot and Connected and Free at the same time as a Christmas present to myself in 2016, and then they brought out a second edition. Now they do come with separate books, as you can see here. Now the first edition, which is this one, has like handwritten font, and I think she got quite a bit of feedback that some of this was perhaps difficult to read. So for the second edition, we've got a type face for the text, as you can see here. So I can't remember which. This is the first edition because I edged it in black. And again, beautiful. Cardstock is, now we all talk about cardstock, but back in 2016 when I held this deck, I'd never felt anything like it. You know, I was used to glossy cardstock of things like Blue Angel and Hay House, those type of Oracle decks. So this was the first independently produced Oracle deck I ever had, and when I felt this cardstock and how luxurious it was, I was like, oh my gosh, you know. Again, absolutely stunning. It just has a word on there. Again, you've got the books. I tend not to use the book a lot with this because I get an intuitive hit from it. It's quite simple. As you can see here, love, pleasure and pain. We've got these keys. I love this. This is a really clever card. So It's just a pair of shoes, an empty pair of shoes if you're just looking at it that way. But in the water, there's this shadowy reflection. Now it's got a subtitle, so it's Connected and Free, The Alchemist's Oracle. As I said, it's by Inner Hue, but it was billed as being the deck for witches and healers, herbalists, medicine men, medicine women, shamans and guides. But this really, if we're talking about alchemy, for me, it's about that that inner transformation. I'll just show a few more of these so you get an idea. But I love that as well. Endings. We've got this door, but we know with an ending, it means there's something on the other side. There is a beginning. Yeah, artwork is just exceptional. Now I did, and they are quite expensive to get. I think they come from Australia, actually. I'm sure when I purchased them, I had such a long wait. It was worth the wait. But then I got the second edition. I'll put this one on the floor. I got this in 2017, I believe. And I made the mistake of, I edged it in this metallic silver. And it's fine on the fronts, which is what it's, but on the back, it looked a bit of a mess. Some worse than others, like here, look. It just seemed to get everywhere. It took forever to dry. I'm thinking like, a couple of months laying these cards out. Every time I picked them up, I got silver paint on my hands. So it took a while to dry out. But the difference was just some extra cards. It's so beautiful. We do have all the chakra cards in there as well. Look at that. Look at the colours. Stand still. You are exactly where you need to be. To pull that card, you are exactly where you need to be. For me, you don't need to go to a book. It's a message that's just, you can read and you can understand, and that's the difference for me between oracle decks and tarot decks. You can just ask a simple question and pull a card and get that sort of intuitive hit. And yes, you can do that with tarot, of course you can, but tarot is more structured. And even though at the end of a couple of catch-up with cards, but that's because I'd be there all day, and we do the card pull, I tend, to use oracle more for single card pulls. There are copyrights, which is a little bit annoying on the edges, but they're not too intrusive, and you don't, I think this is a gorgeous card. Look at that. I love elephants anyway, but the use of colours, and then you've got this monochromatic elephant there. So, Connected and Free, the Alchemist Oracle is in 6th position. So we're now moving in to the top 5. Now this one might come as a bit of a surprise. And as I said, my top 5 now tend to be the ones that I grab for the most. Now this one I've had again since about 2017, and I love it to sit with and just contemplate the images. So I'm talking of Cortes Divinatories, I suppose it is, de Algueril. which translates as Algriel divination cards. It's only a 32 card deck, but I absolutely love this. Now this deck doesn't have any words at all. You do get numbers on the cards. Some are harder to see than others. But this deck, now let me get this right, go back in my memory. From what I understand, the creator of this deck said that the images were inspired by their dreams, but also that spiritual forces, if you like, the spirit realm, kind of use that as a way to dictate the images. Now this deck I find really, really powerful. These are the backs, by the way, which I really like. I like this back. It reminds me of like old wallpaper, but they are glossy. I would have preferred them if they'd been matte, but hey ho. But yeah, there's, as I said, this deck in particular with these fantastic images are ones that I just tend to pull every so often. Again, this is on my desk. I pull every so often and just sit with it. And I think about, you know, what's this image telling me? What is this bridge about? The candle and the light, look how it's casting, the flame is casting these shadows and shapes. And we've all sat, haven't we, and stared at a candle and watch it dance and see the patterns and shadows that it casts onto walls and things like that. So yeah, these images you just sit with and let them speak to you, and whatever you're thinking at the time or experiencing. You know, they say a picture tells 1,000 words. There are no words here, so you just get the image. There's a ladder, there's a closed door. You know, do we need to find another way in or another way to solve the problem? You know, if a situation is closed to you, there may be another way that we need to access it. So just, oh, look at that. I mean, that's really, really powerful image, isn't it? Show a few more. We've got a skull here. It's just beautiful, really beautiful, as well as powerful. Got this dowsing crystal. An old steam train. I mean, that really conjures up justice, doesn't it? Yeah, absolutely gorgeous. So, Algriel, I should say, divination cards. You can buy this quite easily online. Just be aware as well, I don't know if you can see because it might not focus, but I edged this in black and no, it's not going to focus, or maybe there's these lines which really created bumps as I was going over the cards. Luckily they have a black border on each side, so, but yeah, I'm not quite sure why that is how it is. All right, so number 4, another French deck. Now this one I had a few years ago. I had the first edition, long story, but it didn't end up staying in my collection. And then when I was in Glastonbury last year with Sandra, I heard that there was a second edition out. It's by Celia Melville, which, oh, love her work. I've got her Lily Black and Lily White tarot decks as well. This is like Oracle Day Reflects. Now, which is Oracle of Reflection, by the way. 57 cards. I was sat with Sandra and I was like, I really wish I still had that deck. And she brought it me for Christmas, which was just lovely of her. There is a little pamphlet in here. And I say pamphlet because it's very thin, but even half of that is in French and the other half in English. So all you get really is just keywords, which is fine. You know, that's all it's needed sometimes to start you off. I've not used the book. Again, for me, this is a deck where the images, you do get in French and English a title. So you can see here, it says Fear. These are the backs, by the way, these koi. Yeah, again, edged it in black. Oh, I love this deck. Look at the images. Now, you probably think that's quite unusual artwork. So this Oracle deck was never intended. It didn't set out to be an Oracle deck. It was actually the creator, Celia Melville, who was playing around with a new art medium, and she was putting paper in walnut stain and water. So she was soaking it, and then as the paper was beginning to dry, she realized that actually the staining was creating images. And again, that's what divination is, isn't it? Whether it's looking at tea leaves in the bottom of a cup and looking at patterns, or, you know, throwing rice down and seeing how it lands and whether there's images. It's something we've done since the dawn of time, looking at clouds and seeing images in clouds. And it's the same concept. She was looking at the staining as the paper was drying, and then she got a pen and she elaborated from that staining. And the result is this fantastic, in my opinion, fantastic Oracle deck that, I mean, you can just see here, you know, the bark of the tree. So this deck, for me, really does work with your subconscious. Let's move them so it's focusing on the images. Again, there's a bit of a theme happening with me, isn't there, in terms of shadow, but that's what I want from an Oracle deck. I want it to go deep, or if not, then I want it to provide some further insight, which you'll see when I get to like my number one deck. But yeah, this is just a stunning deck. Spark of Life. That's card number one. Oh, look at that. Yeah, it's a bit like Think Block, Rorschach, is it? Rorschach, I can never remember that word. But you know, where you kind of look at images and then she's took a pen and she's illustrating what she sees in the staining. But wonderful deck. So that's L'Oracle des Reflex by Celia Melville. I think the second edition is still available. I'm not sure. I don't think the first edition is any longer. So yeah, so that's 10 down to 4. We're now into the top 3. Let's just have a... I'm not sure how long I've been on for. So in third place, oh gosh, I love this deck. Recognize it? This is Roots and Wings by Kat Riles. Again, simple images, one word, or perhaps there might be a couple, 2 at the most. This deck I've had since 2019, Yeah, at the meetup. I traded this with Elle, who didn't want it. So I took it off their hands, or we exchanged, I think, for decks that I had. I took it on holiday with me, and I did some readings by the sea. I think I even recorded a video at the time. It was before lockdown. And then I loved it so much that I purchased the pocket edition, the mini edition, and that's in my travel altar. Because this I just love, and again it's on a little shelf here, just here, where I can grab it from time to time. This one is a rose petal finish. You see there's no reflection from the light at all. It can be a little bit tricky to shuffle, whereas the mini version isn't in rose petal. But I still love this. So it's called Roots and Wings, and again it does exactly what it's intended to do. The roots part is, you know, that sort of grounding, that there's a lot of earthy feel to the deck here, lots of grounding to be done, but also flourishing then spiritually within the world. So you've got that grounding element, and then you've got the wings part, which helps you to develop spiritually and flourish and grow. But it's that harmony between the two that I really like. You've really got this sense of the elements as well, and then you see, look, these spiritual beings just rising up in the rays of the sun. It's just gorgeous. Look at that, Father. We have the divine here, we've got Gaia, the moon, drifting. I love this image. Really simple, but look how effective that artwork is. Earth Mother. We've got the pomegranate. Does it remind you of the tarot? Home. Time. So beautiful. So beautiful. For the longest time, this was, I love this, held. Oof. Yeah, for the longest time, this was my favourite ever deck. It went everywhere with me. I had a little double pout. I've still got it, like a tarot bag with a divide. It was made by Jen's son, Shane, and this was in one half, and my RWS was the other half. But look at that, grounded community. Look at the this is it, you know, roots and wings. Beautiful. Balance. It's all about balance. And it packs a punch, you know. It's what I need an oracle to do. So, Roots and Wings by Kat Rael is at number 3. Number 2, Oracle of Echoes by Anna Torian. Oh, love, love, love this deck. Now, it used to be my number 1, and I think if I've done a video in the past relating to top Oracle decks, this probably would have been in the number 1 position. Then it kind of went on the shelf for a bit, and then right at the end of last year, at the end of 2023, Anna sent me Tarot of Echoes, and so I dug out the Oracle of Echoes again. This is a little two-part pouch that, again, the lovely Anne made for me and sent it me. It's got a little hermit tag here, can you see? So we'll just take out, and I didn't know if it would work because obviously this isn't as many cards as a 78 card tarot deck, but it does. It fits really well. Now, this deck, again, you know how sometimes you have a really strong connection and you use them to death almost, and then you take a bit of a break. As I said, since the the Tarot of Echoes was released, this has come back out because I've been using that deck a lot, and as I said, it lives with it now. But it was 2017 when I first got this, which is what, 7 years ago now, and it still today gives me the same very deep resonance. You know, I get a visceral reaction to these cards. They're so beautiful, really are beautiful. I love Anna's art style. Look how this is part dragon, part awaken your inner force. It's this dragon that's coming out of this person. Again, it's one that's never ever in 7 years left my desk. It's always been around here, even though I said it went back on the shelf. What I'm talking about is the shelf here on the desk. And it's one that I just find myself going back to because I do get that real hit from it. And what I mean by that, because when we talk about hits, I tend to talk about it in two different senses really. If I just want, if I'm doing a reading, say with tarot, and I just want some clarification, I'll pull an oracle card like the next deck I'm going to show. And that gives me, yeah, okay, I get now, you know, especially if I'm a little bit stuck or the flow is not how I want it to be. With a deck like this, I get a deep hit. That hit is, you know, in the solar plexus, and it really connects at a deep level, and that's why this has to be right up there as my number 2. Just so incredibly powerful as well as beautiful. Again, Anna Torian is somebody that can do no wrong. Everything she's released I've got because she's incredible. Yeah, we speak the same language. Ah, look at this. Look at this. Let go. So there was a second edition with a blue back. And I was talking to Anna about trying to get a last copy she had, but it was around the Christmas time that my mum took ill and then passed away in the January. So it never actually happened, but you know, I'm more than happy with the original first edition anyway. Some things just aren't meant to be. So let's pop that back in here, and that's my Echoes pack. Right, so number 1. Why is this deck my number 1? For the main reason, it is the deck that I use the most. You know, it's not visually beautiful. It's not one that hits me deeply, but it's one, as I just spoke about, where I use as clarification, or I just want to pull a card and take the essence of the tarot in oracle form. The deck I'm talking about is the Sun Rider Oracle by Ramon Santiago. Ramon is a very well-loved member of our tarot community. He has a channel called Moon Scarab. But what I will say just before I show it is this was based on a deck I've shown many times called the Moonlight Oracle. So I'm mentioning in this, there's not as many cards in this deck as there is in the Sun Rider, because Ramon kind of used this as an idea and created his own deck. This I you purchased for about £15 the artwork in digital form only, and then you have to produce your own deck. And Brant actually created this for me quite a few years ago, probably about 4 years ago now, I think. Ramon saw that video and he created the Sunrider Oracle. Now, the reason why I've shown that is I don't believe, although there's been lots of calls for him to make it available, I don't believe this is one you can buy anywhere. I think he made it for me and him. He said, you know, you're the only other person who's got this this oracle. So that made it quite special as well, because he made himself a copy and then made a copy for me. Love what he did with the backs. We've got a take on the roses and lilies, and we've got this red and white design, which I love. It is tarot sized. So as it says here, Sunrider Oracle, 70 Oracle cards by Ramon Santiago. And then he said, I created this Oracle deck based on the details of Pamela Coleman-Smith's legendary images for the Rider-Waite Tarot deck. Use these cards as a tool to enhance any tarot reading, for inspiration or for insight into any situation. Yeah, and he's put 2022, wow. And then there was this card that said, Dear Simon, may these cards bring you blessings always, Ramon. So that was really nice. So as it said on the title card that comes with it, these images are all taken from Pamela Coleman-Smith's artwork that was used in the Rider-Waite-Smith tarot deck. And then he has added a keyword that relates to that symbol from the tarot. It's on the very soft linen cardstock, which is beautiful. But yeah, I love it. I mean, look, from the Four of Cups, it's an offer. Complexity from the Five of Pentacles. I just love it. I think it is perfect. So I use it in one of two ways. It's the deck that I use the most. It's the one that I grab for. So if I'm in the mornings doing a spread, so I'll do 3-card spread. Sometimes I do 6-card spread. So top is, you know, kind of what is obvious, what I need to focus on. The bottom 3 are what's less obvious, what is hidden that I need to be aware of. Sometimes I'll think, okay, I'm just a little bit, I get what it's saying, but I need a bit of clarity. Pulling a card from here really helps as well. But it's great as well just to shuffle the deck and pull a certain card. Intuition. So if intuition is my card of the day, then that's something that I need to be focusing on, you know, is to follow my gut, you know, and really connect within when faced with a situation, you know, to really pay attention to what I'm feeling on the inside. So many times, don't we say, oh, I wish I'd followed my gut, I wish I'd followed my intuition. So it just brings into focus, and I love it because what's really clever as well, lots of the images, I mean, look at that. We recognize the cards, don't we? Here we've got the Magician's Table. You know, because they're brought into a larger focus a lot of the times, they're still really, they're not distorted or pixelated. It's been done so well. On the Death card there. Yeah, so I really love this deck so much, and I was so touched. I really like this as well. You know, we've got the process and a broken process. I was just so touched that Ramon made this and had sent it to me. It's very treasured. And you know, I think there'll be people watching this saying things like, I mean, this is a play on obviously the 9 of Swords, but there's more swords there. We've got that card of anxiety. I know a lot of people say, oh, I wish it was available. You know, and no pressure on Ramon. But I've had to show it because I couldn't, even though I'm mindful that, you know, people might be, well, we can't get it. I've had to show it because there's no point doing a top 10 all-time favourite decks and not showing what my #1 deck is. Okay, I'm gonna get off before these sirens really start to get annoying. But that is, I think I've been on for about an hour. That is my top 10 all-time favourite Oracle decks. As it stands at the moment, I say all-time, but my life till this point, which is the 1st of June, maybe the 3rd of June by the time you're seeing this, 2024. I'd like to see yours, so do, you know, if you want to do show your top 10 Oracle decks, do tag me in your videos so I can check it out. All right, thanks for watching, everybody. I've hoped you've enjoyed the video, and yeah, until next time, go in peace. Namaste and blessed be.